And welcome to the Metal Mixtape here on KSQ 89.5 FM Ashland, Oregon, 94.1 FM Medford, Oregon, and streaming online on kskqdjramo. It's the boy, it's the Don DJ Ramo. Today, we are talking to one of the most brutal vocalists in the game, 30 years in the game, who's played all over the world. We are talking to the one and only Maurizio from KATAKLYSM. What is up, Maurizio?
What's up, man? I want some of that coffee you've been taking, man. That's a lot of energy right there.
You know what, man?
I'm rapid fire.
I'm naturally a very high-strung person, but I'll tell you what, when I burn out, man.
Right.
Like, you know, I do metal. Like, not only do I do radio, but I'm also like a booking agent and I play in a band.
Cool.
So by the end of the week, man, I am just like, I'm so metaled out that I just want to listen to like Ozzy, some changes, you know what I mean? At the end of the week, and just lay back, you know, with my 3-year-old. But dude, we are here because we're going to talk to you about your new album, Goliath. And there's just so many other questions that I'm going to ask you today because you have such a long and awesome career. I know, you know, one of the things my radio show is doing this year is we're covering Wacken this year. So I definitely want to talk to you about Wacken over in the air because I know you guys are playing this year, and you guys have played Wacken before. You know, earlier I was watching your performance, your 2015 performance. Just you guys up there, absolutely crushing, dude. So we have so much to break down. But you know what, Mauricio, this band has been active for over 30 years, man. I know you've had your ups and downs. When looking at it now and compared to where you start, do you ever get mind blown, like to see where you're at and being like, man, like when I was younger, this all started off as a dream, and now I do this for a living. And what's crazy is that, like, you know, seeing your career is that like you're playing these shows that like you're just constantly reliving your dream. You know, do you think your younger self would be able to believe how far you've gotten in your career?
I mean, it would be hard. It would have been hard to imagine at that time, right? Because it's you know, when I started out, like we started as band out of high school.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just got signed quickly to Nuclear Blast. I mean, I remember I was 15 when I started playing, and by 17 I was signed. So it was kind of freaky, right? So we thought, you know, we were always told, enjoy the moment. It might last 3 years, 5 years, you know, and that's it. That's what death metal at that time, because I'm part of the second wave of the death metal world.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Cannibal Corpse, you had the Obituaries and all the Morbid Angels, all that stuff was coming out first, right? And the Dismembers and all that. And then we came in the second wave with the Hypocrisies, the KATAKLYSM, Nile, you know, so there was a couple of different waves of the style, but we were part of the beginning because, you know, band was formed in 91, 92, so like we're a long time, you know, into this. It's crazy because we're 30 years in, you know, and it's like everybody lives from music. Everybody's got families now, you know. It's crazy. Like we got a lot, you know, everybody's got kids. So it's like we just all grew up together, and we're 3 out of 4 that have been together from the beginning. So it's really cool to see the evolution and how we managed to survive the ups and downs, you know.
No, absolutely, man. And yeah, just talking about like having families, like I couldn't imagine how hard it was to manage. But you know what? You know, one of the things I think is like a fake stigma is like people say that like having a family would slow you down. But I always say when you have a family, it makes you value that little time that you have, you know, to be able to like write music or like when you go do a performance, like you're going to go out there and give it twice as hard because you know that you're taking time away from your family to do this. So if you're going to take away time, you might as well go kick ass. Like did having like, you know, having families and all that, did it change your perspective during your career? Because I mean, you were saying you got signed at 17. That's like a NBA player coming out of high school and being signed to the NBA draft. Right. You know, and being thrown all this fame, you know, how do you think you see music from when you started off being young until now having a family?
It's changed dramatically. I mean, there's not many bands that from day one have been able to be consistent like KATAKLYSM, like have been around.
Great.
then we have 15 records out, and it's like, when you think about it, it's almost every 2 years a record. And if you look at the average, that's what it is. And it's very difficult to survive, for example, the different trends that come in and out, right? So we might be the hottest thing when we're 19 or 20 because all the young kids are with you. But then you got to transport that fan base over. Are they going to be there when they're 35, when they're 40? They're still going to be lifelong fans like Slayer has, Metallica. So we would manage to keep that and also rejuvenate our fan base as we go. But we've also been smart about changing our sound. You know what I mean? Like keeping it modern, but without giving up who we are from the beginning. So KATAKLYSM has been pretty good at doing that. I've learned a lot the business side of things. I manage bands. I have a management company as well on the side that I handle bands with, and an agency as well. So we do book tours. I don't know if you're familiar with Continental in the States, but that's part of. I started that agency with Steph. So we do probably 1 out of 3 death metal tours, or 2 out of 3 death metal tours to us, in the country. So I've learned at a young age that you have to get involved heavily from the beginning process of being in a band, from the booking side all the way to the band. So if you can gather that, you have a good chance of making it because you get the whole inside out, persistence, be prepared that even if you're on the top, that you're going to go down at some point. Nobody stays on the top forever. You will go down. There's going to be waves. And if you can ride those waves properly, you're going to be all right. A lot of bands, they do that dump and then they're kicking members out. What do we do wrong? And they don't understand that that's just the cycle of things. So you have to survive the ups and downs. It's just, there's no way around it. So it's part of the game,
Yeah, you know what? I know I'm going to make another sports reference, but the thing is, it's a lot of championships do that. Championship teams do that when they win a championship, and then they don't repeat the next year. They just trade off all their players, and they're trying to bring new people in, and instead of trying to be consistent, they have that teamwork and camaraderie. When you being in a band for so long. Is there something that you talk to your bands when you get them onto your agencies and let them know that, like, hey, this is how it is, and this is the things you have to prepare for? Like, do you have those type of conversations when you bring people on?
Yeah, the first question I ask, let's say other managers, is like, are you realistic? Is your band realistic? It's going to be hard out there. So can they do it? Do you have some money to invest? Because when you're starting, there is no profit off tour number 1. Like you're gonna go and invest. You're showing off who you are. You're showcasing your music. So it's a time process. Back in the day, it took 10 years for a band to be developed because you need 3-4 records. 3 records, 4 records, and it needs to happen in that time frame of albums. People need to understand, like, they build on those. Some bands are lucky to get it right away on the first record, second record, they're big. But sometimes those bands go boom and then they go right back down, because the hype needs to stay with you for a while. It's just sometimes people are like, oh, this is the coolest thing right now. Next month they're like gone, So there's a little bit of that. And you're right about that. Like I don't know if you follow hockey a little bit, but
I listen. Yeah, I do, just because I listen to like Fox Sports every morning and like CBS Sports. Yeah, so I watch like the Golden Knights and stuff.
Okay, cool. So like the Hawks for a while, I think they won 3 championships in a row, but they kept the same team, right? So they knew, like, and then the team started getting too old, and like the guys they needed to change a few things. As soon as they did that, and they changed their mentality because they're winning too much, they started going down, and then they sucked for a bunch of years. So it's the same thing, if you let yourself stay hungry, you're going to fight for that food, right? And you're going to give everything you got. And it's when your belly's too full, you get lazy. And it's the same thing with everything, right? So that's my philosophy about it. So we've always been under the radar. We've never been an elite band. We've never been part of the big shit, we don't want it, to be honest. Even if we get there, we know that the responsibility of staying there is very difficult. The only band I know in death metal that did it is Cannibal Corpse. So it's like they've always been there. They've always had the name. Just the name was enough. You know, it's like Cannibal Corpse. You know, I always told Alex and the guys, I'm like, you got the, you know, whoever fucking came up with his name's a genius. You know, Cannibal. Like, can't have more death metal than that. And I was like, it's perfect. You know, so they're kind of, for us, a good indication how long you could do it, how long, because they've been consistent. We've been like under them, but consistent like them. So for me, it's that type of band that can give you kind of a glimpse into the future, because they're older than we are, you know. So how long can you go? You know, there used to be that musicians at 35, it's over. You know, now they're going to 60. You know, so it's like the Aussies 70. You know what I mean? Like they're still there. I'm not giving up. Well, it's like your body's giving up. You know, it's like, so there is a limit to where you can go, but I think it keeps you young to be in metal and doing this stuff. You know, so.
Absolutely. No, I love that answer, man. Yeah, no, and yeah, it is important to stay consistent and important to stay hungry, you know, and I like that you respect that you know, like where you're at and where you could reach in certain genres. But, you know, to stay hungry and consistent is so important, because, you know, I've seen bands do like a one-hit wonder, be on top, and then now, like, they could hardly sell out like a very small bar, or they're giving out free tickets. You know,
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and clown Crazy Town for this interview.
Okay.
I don't care, because I watch their videos and those guys are toxic as hell.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't give a crap about them. Sorry, I know I'm supposed to be humble and stuff, but screw Crazy Town.
No, I got you. You know,
but you know what?
But to their credit, they're still continuing, like they're still going.
Yeah, they're still. I know. All love to them. I'm sorry.
Giving away free tickets. So whatever. You get my point. There's a respect factor in the sense that if you're doing an arena and you're going from there to a club and you're giving away tickets, but you're still going. There's two things: either you really believe you're going to turn it around, or you might have to give it up. Like, it's like, it depends. What's your purpose? If you still believe that you're going to get back to the arenas, it might be the wrong thing. If you're doing it because you just simply love music and you don't give a fuck if there's 5 people or 5,000, then that's a different mentality. I respect that. Right. So it depends. I think they probably think they can get back to the arenas at some point, but so it just depends who you are. You know what I mean? So I don't jump to that level, but I get what you're saying.
Oh yeah, you know, and the other thing is, I've done over 300 interviews and I've never said anything bad about any bands. And the only reason I said that is because when you watch like the recent video where like they were fighting, it was all about like money and stuff, and they were at each other's throats. And I'm just like, do you guys ever just like enjoy writing music anymore, or are you guys just gonna ride out Butterfly as long as you can? You know,
right? Right. That's the song. Like in Biscuit, they got 3 hits and that's it. But there's that underneath, you know, and it's still live. You know? So bands like us, we can be challenged over and over. You know what I mean? It is exactly like the live. Like, there's the machine and then there's us. You know, like KATAKLYSM is like David in life. You know, it's like a guy that's going to go against the odds, must win. You know what I mean? No enemy's too big. You know?
Oh yeah. Before we get into your album, because I literally have an entire page full dedicated just towards Goliath. I want to talk a little bit about Wacken Fest. Yep. So Wacken Fest, amazing festival in Germany. I'm actually working on my passport right now, so I can go next year and hopefully do some journalism. But playing from shows in like the United States and then going to play like festivals like Wacken. What for people in the United States who've never been to Wacken, ever been to a festival over in Europe? Like what are the different vibes over there? You know, because like I feel like anytime I see a show at Wacken, everybody has like a battle vest with like 1,000 patches. Everybody is just so, there's a lot of diehards. I'm not saying there isn't diehards here in the United States.
They live in shit metal there, that's for sure. Germany is a capital of metal. Like, it's one of the capitals of metal, the whole country. Like, you could play 15 shows. Like, KATAKLYSM could literally play 12, 15 shows in Germany alone. Like, it's just a really mecca type of place, right? So it's an experience. When you go there, it's like you're in a different world and you feel at home. That's what's amazing about it. You go to a festival like that and you're like, how come we don't have this back home like we should, right? So we tend to, as you know, as Americans, like to want to always go bigger and bigger and grandiose, and we forget the essence of what it is, right? It's a community coming together. We're outcasts coming together to a festival. Hey, you're like me, like you get it. We're outside the grid or whatever, you know, and it's like you're coming in. It's the idea of that brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever, all of us together, understanding what it is and enjoying music and the message of rebellion that's coming out, right? So here we tend to go like, we want it bigger. Let's get 10,000 bands and let's do it like this. And it's money, money, money at the end. You know, that's my thing. They started as fans and developed this into a huge thing like Wacken out of a small town, out of nowhere. If you know what Wacken is, I mean, without Wacken Festival, the economic situation of that town is shit. It's like that festival makes it, that one week or whatever, makes the entire year run for Wacken, that area, right? Excuse me. So basically, it started out of a couple of guys being fans and doing it for fun, and then automatically, organically became what it is. And it's a lot of those festivals in Germany are like that. They start with 1,000 people and end up 10,000, 20, 50, or in Wacken's case, 80,000, you know? So it's an incredible adventure. And I think that's totally worth it for you to go visit and experience it and see it. Hopefully it doesn't rain, because when it rains, it's a mudslide. You know, that's the only thing. I played once Wacken when it rained, and I was like, oh man, it's like everybody was covered in shit, you know? It's like, it was like that, but it was still incredible, and the fans don't give a fuck, and that's cool about it, right? They're still there. You know? They'll eat mud for metal, you know. And I think that's the type of it, but it's become international now. So you have people from all over, which makes it even cooler, you know. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. You'll enjoy. Another one that's really cool is Metal Days. We're playing that one in Slovenia. It's a very nice area with the water and everything. It's cool. So they make it. It's becoming like a vacation spot. You know what I mean?
I love it so much, man. Is there a preparation your band takes before they play a big festival like that, compared to like walking into a venue and just like parking your bus and your van and loading everything, getting your merch and everything set up? Is there like a different sort of preparation?
It definitely has this side. It's yes. I mean, club touring becomes a routine after the first day or two that you're breaking in everything. You got everything set up, and then it's like the same mission. It's like a circus. Every day you come, you set up your tent, you put everything, and then you do your show, you leave. Festivals, it's like you're coming in as a guest, and it's like you got 15 minutes to get on that stage, get ready, play, get out, because they will cut you. You know, it's like you don't have control over the daily activities of the scheduling, right? So it's too many people. So that you have 50,000 people in front of you. They're waiting for the 8 o'clock. You're starting. You know, 8:30 or 8:45. You're done. Next band, 15 minutes. Next later, the other stage needs to start. So the organization is much more tight. The feeling of the stage is incredible. You feel like you're on top of the world because you're on a huge stage with heads in front of you that you can't see how far it goes, and so just different vibes, right? So I like that side of things, but I really enjoy clubs because I'm close to the fans and I feel the energy, like being so close. This is just like a monumentous event with thousands of metalheads in front of you. It's two different things, but it relates.
I love it.
It's just coming in mentally with two different mentalities, you know.
I love it.
Same goal.
I love hearing that perspective, and I hope bands who are listening to this will hear that too, man. Because you know, a lot of bands I know locally here in Southern Oregon, a lot of people's dreams are to play like Wacken and all these other festivals in Europe. You know that you know,
well, it can happen. It can happen. I mean, look at us. You know, so I think this is our 4th time playing Wacken now, or 5th. Something like that over the years, over 20 years. And the good trick, if you ever get on a stage like that, the first time, because you might get really intimidated when you have thousands of eyes on you, like, and you're on stage. You don't want to look over people's heads.
Oh man, like
bald spots and hair, so that's
bald spot. I love that bald spots. I love it. I love it. All right, man. The new album Goliath coming out August 11th. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, from start to finish, just a great intro to the album with Dark Wings of Deception. But one of the things and of course one of the things I noted too is how insane of a drummer Max is.
So like, it's James.
Sorry,
Max was original Cataclysm drummer. Yeah, that's okay. We've had that's been the story of our life. Been like switching drummers all the time.
Right, James. All right, sorry, I apologize. That's just. Oh. I need to quit looking online for this stuff. I need to like go to Cataclysm on your website or something.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
People suck.
It happens all the time because we switch drummers every 3 records almost. So
so James is an absolute monster of a beast of this album. Listening to him on every track almost made me tired. Because like for me, like when I listen to metal, a riff is only as heavy as the drummer. Because you could have an AC/DC riff, but have like blast beats behind it, and it'd probably be insanely brutal. Right. People would probably call it like experimental death metal if they had Angus Young. Yeah. What I mean? So I just think everybody, how brutal this record was, but I love how vocally and drum rhythm it's just pushed, man. And one of my favorite things in the song Goliath is your enemy is stupid. I really love that line. I kept singing it when I was out. But dude, what is it? Bringer of Vengeance. So I was really paying attention to that music video. And what I got from that music video is that these assassins came in and they killed the king, and his son was watching his dad, who was the king, get killed, right? Right. And you could tell by like the video that the kid was like a peaceful kid. He was like a nice kid, and he was never turned into like battle or being like a fighter and all that. But he was so driven by seeing his dad get assassinated that he got trained to be a warrior. And instead of him wearing his crown and being like, all right, now I'm just like this king, he was pissed off. And he's like, no, I'm going to wear this battle helmet. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go shred them to pieces.
Right. I'm going to take my father's honor back.
Yes.
That's the idea of the video. So basically, that's Bringer of Vengeance, which is the second video of the combo, because the first song for It's Die as a King is cool. And that video is coming out in I think 2 weeks. So
sweet. I'll be there for it.
So Die as a King is going to be the prequel. We filmed the entire thing like a mini movie, and then there's 2 parts to it. So the prequel is coming out, which is Die as a King, which is the previous part of this video. So that's coming out in about 2 weeks. So that's the second single.
I love it, man. You guys must have a blast recording these music videos, right?
We actually shot that in Serbia. We flew out there before the tour we did with Soulwork overseas at the beginning of this year. And we were out there and we went straight into Serbia, shot the videos. And then because they can do Hollywood type stuff over there for less money than going into LA and getting, destroyed over there financially, because it's absolutely crazy right now, the costs to do a video like this here, so we had to go to Serbia for that. And so that was cool. And they've done a lot of big stuff and they did a great job. And we got another one that we're going to be shooting soon here for Black Wings of Deception. We're gonna do a song. We're gonna do a video for that one. That's the next one.
That's awesome. So do you ever think about it when you're writing this album and like already have a video in mind when you do write a single? Like let's say like Bringer of Vengeance. Like when you wrote this song, did you already have an idea that you're gonna have a music video for it and the type of music video, or is it like you guys wrote the album and thought like this would be a good song for the music video?
Well, when we go back and listen to the songs after it's done, we kind of have a consensus of what songs we think are like the top 3. And then we send the album to the label, and the label gives us their top 3. So if we have matches, we know that it's spreading in the same direction. So Bringer of Vengeance was a song that like was unanimous, like in every direction that we threw it. So it was always a song coming on top, but this song's got to come out, like as one of the singles. The reason we released it first is because Cataclysm is very well known for its big grooves and its big heavy sounds and stuff like that. And this song is very like in your face, and it's got that catchy chorus and everything. So we knew that that's going to solidify the fan base right away. And then obviously this is a type of record that you got to listen to it from start to finish to understand it all, because there's a lot of technical areas and there's a lot of stuff that's super extreme. Like there's a song called From the Land of the Living to the Land of the Dead that is a 260 beats per minute type of song. It's extreme, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, and that's actually where I wrote my notes for the drumming, with the biggest notes on that
insane.
song.
Yeah, so that's like one of the fastest tracks.
I sorry to interrupt you. I literally wrote down insane, so that's awesome. You said that. Continue.
So what I'm saying is that track, for example, if you listen to Bring Your Vengeance, you're not going to think that there's a song like that. So you have to listen to the record because it's diverse, right? It goes different directions. So, but it all ties in together, and I think that's the main focus and the main mission for the record.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. This is like a perspective question I want to ask. Okay, so of course the band has its top 3 songs that it's going to send to the labels. The labels, I would say, for Nuclear Blast, by any chance. What I wonder, do the people that represent them to listen to these songs, do they have to like all sorts of metal and all sorts to have like a good opinion, or not a good opinion? Because like sometimes I'll tell bands that like it's sometimes when you get a bad review, it's because you released a power metal album, but you're sending it to a guy who only listens to deathcore. So his vision of the album is going to be completely different than yours because he's never listened to a power metal album,
right?
But I'm guessing that people like a Nuclear Blast and all that, they have all these bands on there, so they must just be a fan of like every genre.
We're going to be put with people that understand Cataclysm, that have worked with them before. They're going to ask history, because if not, it doesn't make sense. It'd be a huge gamble if I go with somebody that's like an Iron Maiden fan, doesn't like that. All right, so which single? It's like, dude, I already tossed it in the garbage can. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not my world, because screaming and singing are two different things. We are more rhythmic in our delivery, almost like rappers, and then they're going to be more like melodic, opera singers. So that's two different games, So so you have to be with somebody who understands where you're coming from, that has at least an idea of your history.
Absolutely. All right. I didn't realize that we're running out of time. You have a bunch of interviews coming up.
I got a little bit more time for you. They're going to be the last one. Maybe another 10 minutes I can give you.
All right. Sweet. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know, because I always do that with other journalists, because there's been times where I've done an interview and so I've came into an interview and they're like, you have 9 minutes. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I have 25 minutes worth of questions. Okay, so I'm curious now. What were the 3 songs that your band decided on to send to the label?
I'm not going to tell you the last one because it's not. I have to keep it aside because it's going to be the single also. But we got songs the first all the way to, for example, Combustion. All that section over there was all like songs that were considered, right? And The Sacrifice for Truth, last one as well. So we have, those were kind of all the songs that like they think that we had like about 6 singles on it, but we can only choose 3. So we chose 2 of them that I'm going to put out because they go together. So Die as a King was going to come out regardless because it's part of the concept of Bringer of Vengeance. And then there's one more, which I told you anyways, it's the first song.
I know. Oh, you gave it up. Oh, man. I got this. I got the spice here.
So you got the last one we're going to do, but it's fine because it's all going to come out soon anyways. So all good.
Oh, sweet, man. No, I appreciate you, man. I always like to mark out what song I thought it stuck out a whole lot. And you were talking about groove earlier, and Gravestones and Coffins. Like that one is a straight, like I heard bass tone for days on that album. It was like, like for me, that one really stuck out. But I love it how you put it towards the end of the album. Cause like you said, for you to get this album, you really have to start from beginning. to finish, and the album does get really intense. How we were talking from the land of living and to the land of the dead. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I have a handwriting like a fourth grader. It hasn't gotten any better. It's all a bunch of scribbles.
Me too. That means we're intellects.
But no, I thought the song really made sense there. So, was this song one of like the first or middle of the pack written songs? What was the thought process behind this song, especially having so many songs around it that have just built up the tempo so high to have this one? I mean, this one does go into like a straight headbanger. It starts off slow.
It could have stayed in the first half of the album. I put it there because I needed to diversify the ending of the album, because there was a lot of intense songs, from heroes to villains is pretty intense. And then, you got all those tracks around there. And I found that one would kind of bring the groove back into the ending of the record, because we have songs like Goliath that are very groove oriented. Combustion is like almost like a Hate Breed type of, heavy chorus type of track. So that one, we kind of spread it down a little bit more further till the end, so we get like another surprise towards the end. And I really like that track. It's a bit dark as a track lyric wise. Gravestones and coffins is all I see, basically it's like I see death everywhere. And that's what the track's about, because we're constantly fed negative shit all the time through media, through things, so
what the hell, man?
I know. Yeah. It's like, there's never good news, you know what I mean? So I remember good times where, this hero did this, now it's like nothing, it's like, so it's kind of, this record kind of moves around that type of topic, inner demons, what's going on a little bit in the world. Like, I feel there's like this big hand of oppression a little bit, kind of censoring, you're a journalist. So the last thing you want is freedom of speech to go away. And I think that debating is the best way to get to a common ground. And if you eliminate one side or the other, you're not going to get to the point where everybody's going to get along, And I felt we're constantly being divided, and I really don't like that. And I grew up in a different time where everybody was trying to get along as much as possible. But that's why, for me, Goliath is the machine, right? And we are the people, we're David, and we're trying to fight that machine so that we can, do progress in life. And it's kind of an overall concept. And, that's, so every song has a different layer to that,
No, I love that, man. And the album definitely, now the way you break it down, definitely speaks to the truth going on in our generation. And it's just, I'm 33, and when I was like 12 years old, the internet started getting like really powerful and all that, like with the Facebook, with the MySpaces, and just, the Yahoo chat rooms all that, back when Yahoo was like a thing. And the thing is like, everybody does love each other, but it's just all these opinions of where we should be and where we should be directed. And because the thing is, it's like, one of the things I always say, where like how social media has so much control over us, is that when there's a big catastrophic event that happens, whether it's like a fire or a flood, nobody looks at race. Nobody looks at politics. There's a black person helping a white baby. There's a white person helping a Mexican baby, and everybody's helping each other out of these events. Yeah. And it just shows how controlled we are on until we hit a catastrophic event that involves all of us. Because for me, there was
9/11 was one of those. 9/11.
Yeah.
Country. Yeah, I know. I get it, and that's 100%. Like, if I go outside my neighborhood and I talk to the Indian guy, the black guy, the Spanish guy, whatever, Latino, like, we all get along. We have barbecues together. Everybody gets along. You won't believe that it's like that if you open the news. You know what I mean? So, for me, it's like I'm completely disconnected from that. Like, if this is being in my bubble, then I love my bubble, because this is where I grew up, and in the sense of being open to everybody and letting letting people be what they want to be. It's fine with me. There's certain things that has to have certain limits, like, you know, when there's children involved, when there's all kinds of stuff like that, we have to be careful. I mean, that's without going saying, you know, but life in general for me people need to have freedom to think and be who they want to be. That to me is important. It's the same thing for us as metalheads. When I grew up and I started being a metalhead, I was like, what the fuck do you want? Like, my family, are you crazy? Cut your hair, you know, like I'm Italian. So I went through that type of stuff, you know what I mean? So, but at the end, they love me no matter what. And do what you need. And they respected me when I started making money. Oh, you're making money. You're a good boy. It's like that. So I went, you know, so but they always believed in me. My mom bought me my first guitar, even if she wanted me to be a lawyer, but she said, here's your guitar. You want this, right? And those are the type of things that I carried with me. And I believe that society in general is like that. They're going to have opinions, but in the end, we don't want everybody to be okay, you know? So I don't like it when we feel like there's this big machine that's saying, you don't say that, you're canceled. This, but I can't deal that. Like, it's not what we are as metalheads. First of all, we've always been rebellious. We're nonconformists. That's the thing. It's so many people were just conforming to everything right away. This is how it is. Okay, yeah. Okay. I mean, seriously, we're not allowed to ask questions, not allowed to debate, and I have a problem with that, you know. And Goliath is pretty much the undertone of you know, society in general, where it's going, and you have to stand tall to what you believe in, even if it's going to be a big battle, and even if there's always going to be somebody bigger than you, you know, and you might have to confront it.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to end this interview before we hit I'm going to ask you 3 fun questions, but we are talking to Maurizio, the new album Goliath, out August 11th via Nuclear Blast. Absolutely amazing. Please go watch their music videos. Please go buy their vinyls, their CDs. Go watch them on tour. Check them out at Wacken Open Air, happening in August. All right, man. I'm gonna ask you 3 quick questions, and one of these questions, it's funny. I have like 2 out of 10 artists that can't answer it. They feel like uncomfortable, but it's all right. We're metalheads, right?
Right.
All right. If you could choose your death, but it had to be by somebody in a horror movie, who would you choose to do it, and how would they do it?
Oh man. Horror movie, right?
Yep. Any villain in a horror movie.
Any villain in a horror movie. Fuck, I don't like blades, so Jason and Freddy is not going to work. Who doesn't have a blade? You could just shoot me quickly. That's. I
don't know. I guess just any criminal. I guess
every single horror movie, somebody with a fucking knife, because it's more painful, right?
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, I don't. I think Chucky from Child's Play. He used a couple guns.
Yeah. So Chucky. I would go Chucky could shoot me in the balls, and that'll be it.
he's at that height, man. You just have to aim right here.
Exactly. Yeah. Then I'll be like, I don't want to live anymore without it.
All right. In a zombie apocalypse, if you could have one weapon to destroy the zombie horde that isn't a nuke or the cure, how are you killing zombies?
Shotgun, man.
Shotgun.
Shotgun, just as many as I can take with me. I'll go with shotgun, and then I'd have to have a sidearm to keep going for a little bit. But shotgun, or it's just, I like the shotguns. I know I own a couple, so I would like, I'd go, you know, it'll make a big dent.
All right. What is the one artist or musician that you listen to on your own time that KATAKLYSM fans would not expect you to listen to?
Oh, that's a good one. What's an artist?
Artist, band. It could be somebody on the street playing banjo, anything.
Artists like that maybe they won't expect me listening to. I like Joe Bonamassa. He's a great guitar player. So it's blues. I don't know if my fans would think that I would listen to that type of stuff. They probably think I'm only extreme or something like that. So that like Joey Bonamassa, like him, you know, and things like that. Like I like a lot of blues, you know.
I love it. I love it. Mauricio, thank you so much for being on my show, The Metal Mixtape. I can't wait to show everybody around the world this interview. Last but not least, can you say this is Mauricio from KATAKLYSM and you're listening to The Metal Mixtape?
Yes, this is Maurizio from KATAKLYSM and you are listening to The Metal Mixtape.
Hey, have a great rest of your day. Great rest of your interviews. Have a great time at Wacken Open Air, man. It's been a pleasure. You've been an amazing interview, and I can't wait to go listen to Goliath some more. And everybody go listen to it August 11th.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate all you guys, man. Thank you so much.
Later, my brother.
All the best to you. Cheers.